Okay.
Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Bravo. All right. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Topeka. My name is Vicki George. I'm serving as the moderator today. Janine Silsby is our song leader, and yay! And the Reverend Shannon Gorey is our new minister. First time. Oh, come on. Woo! The very first Unitarian church in Topeka was founded in 1885 and has lived through several versions ever since. This fellowship was formed over 60 years ago in 1961. We belong to a liberal religious tradition, one that values freedom in religious thought and journey and the unity of our interconnection and the universality of love and hope and community. We are glad you are here and hope you will share the journey with us. Before we begin, I want to inform you this service is being streamed and also preserved in electronic form. Please be mindful of that before you come to either of our microphones. A friendly reminder, please turn off those cell phones and other devices at this time so we're not disturbed. You don't want to be that person everybody looks at. And sometimes it's even been me up here and my phone is ringing there, so don't do that. And the ushers can help you with hearing devices if you need one. For further information, please check the boards in a gathering space, the back of your bulletin, and our website, which is printed on the opposite side of the bulletin. In order to allow the maximum time for the teachers, children, and youth in the classrooms, please save any other spoken announcements until later, unless they're appropriate for coming right now. Like Reverend Shannon is having tea times, is hosting them to get to know you. And please sign up on this clipboard that is being passed around. So, lovely husband, thank you, honey. Should we give him a round of applause? Yay, okay. You didn't get a whole lot there, honey. Are there any other announcements from the RE area? Come on up, darling.
Good morning. Next week is our multi-generational water service, and I would love for everybody to bring their own personal water from home or something you got on vacation so that you can add it to one of the 4 direction of water pools. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. And the other announcements from the podium right now are at noon today, we have a program council, also known as the Sunday service team, also known as a lot of different things, don't swear at us, and then in the Emerson Library. And then at 1:30, the religious exploration, the LRE council will be meeting also in the Emerson Library. It's going to be busy. So now I invite Estella Forstein up for a reading and lighting the chalice.
No summer ever came back, and no 2 summers were ever were alike. Times change, and people change, and if our hearts do not change as readily, so much the worse for us. Nathaniel Hawthorne.
We're going to sing this a cappella. It doesn't happen to be in the piano yet. Many of you know it. So sing the chorus with me. If you know the verse, you can sing that with me, but that's fine if you drop out just for the chorus. And it's 108 in these books if you want to read the music. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell a story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart dwells within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
And now we get to hear a story for all ages from our beloved Director of Religious Exploration, Aaron Forstein.
Good morning again. So children, if you'd like to come up, send them. Our story for all ages today is I Am Love, a book of compassion by Susan Verde and art by Peter H. Reynolds. I do have to say, though, I would have loved to have read The Velveteen Rabbit, but it would have taken most of the service. So I don't want to hog that from our new minister. This is how the story goes. When I see someone going through a storm of hurt and unfairness, of anger and sadness, when the sun disappears and the skies grow dark, and I see there is fear I ask myself, what can I do to help let the light back in? I put my hands on my heart and listen, and that is where I find the answer. I have compassion. I act with tenderness. I am love. I can listen and not say a word. I can be there. Love is being present. I can hug and hold and say, everything will be all right. Love is comfort. I can speak softly and choose my words and actions carefully. Love is gentle. I can give thanks for all I have and am able to share. Love is gratitude. I can keep my mind and body safe and healthy. Love is taking care of me. I can express what's important to me. Love is creative. I can know that no one is perfect. Love is understanding. I can do my best to make things better when something is wrong. Love is effort. I can celebrate those I've loved before. Love is remembering. I can find goodness in a kind word, a helping hand, or a shared smile. Love is tiny gestures. I can breathe in the air that the whole world shares and know all creatures are made from the very same stardust. Love is connection. I will hold the book up higher. Okay. When the clouds roll in for others and for me, I know now there is something I can do. I can let my heart lead the way. I am love. You are love. We are love. And with love, we will weather the storm and light up the sky together. The end. It's okay. No worries. If you would like to look at the book later, you definitely may. I have 2 copies. And children, let's head on out. Who is going to carry this today? Okay. Stella will carry the lantern, and let's follow her.
Before Janine and I read our gratitude moment, I also want to do one more announcement from the podium, and that is the Social Justice Committee retreat, all invited next Saturday, 10 to 1, and the address, it will be on the bulletin. And now Janine and I have a gratitude moment.
Yes, this is a message of gratitude to those hardworking, dedicated folks who stepped up during the pandemic to keep Sunday morning presence for UUFT. This became even more important and difficult when Reverend Sarah left in the summer of 2020, and the remaining members of the Sunday worship team, including Vicki and I, quit. Want to see how irreplaceable you are? Try quitting. Not only were we replaceable, those that stepped up did a darn fine job.
Kathy Callan's records from the dreaded Zoom days, September 2020 through September 22, indicate the following people were particularly responsible for the Sunday morning presence, each coordinating multiple programs. Lou Hoover, Bob McDaniel, Kathy Callan, Bobby Schaefer, Rob Cook, Walt Racker, Carolyn Ward, and David Schaefer. And several others supported the multi-generational programs, Jean Ryan, Aaron Forstein, and Richie McDaniel. If present, would you please stand?
All of those that got mentioned.
Yeah. When Rob Cook joined the team in 2021, he also stepped up to chair the Sunday morning program team. Also, often a frustrating job. It goes without saying he's been trying to herd cats. So is he a hero or a glutton for punishment?
Some of the veterans of the Zoom days have rotated off the team and others have joined. Aaron and Micah Forstein, Jack Starr, Jake. Who did that? Who did that? Jake Starr, and most recently, Mindy Bacchus and Robin Hansen. Oh, and Vicki and I came back in again to support Lou's programs on the 8th principle. Perhaps with some humility, maybe?
To all of you, but especially those who stepped up during those 2 pandemic years, our love and heartfelt gratitude for keeping the Sunday ship afloat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we have, to show our gratitude to you that are lifesavers, we have bowls of lifesavers going around. Oh, I never thought about the fact that now we're going to have these rattling sounds. Oh, well, you know. Okay, now we have joys, concerns, and additional announcements from anybody that cares to join, have an announcement from this microphone. My concern that I'd like to share is my only sibling, Alan George, passed away this past week in Idaho after a fall in which he broke his hip. He was my early protector, but he also could suck the air out of the room for me. Later, the relationship became distant and more complicated, reflecting the polarization in our nation. I was able to visit him the last 2 springs, for which I am grateful, and his children put him on speakerphone 2 days before his death so I could express my love, thank him for teaching me how to tie my shoes, and that I would miss him. Are there any other joys, concerns, or other announcements?
My name is Mike Wilson, and I just want to share Trish Wagner, our current president, continues to recover from surgery. She's beginning her 3rd week and optimistically expects to be able to work 2 hours from home each day, and wishes you all her best and hopes to be here soon.
Hi, Kenny Woodworth. I'm going to make a similar announcement next Sunday, but I just want to let everyone know that Pagan Community Coffee is going to be on the 26th at 5:30 at Coffee Bar. I'm really bad about letting people know within like more than 24 hours notice, so there's your reminder. If you forget, that's your fault.
I'm Dennis Bosley. I have a kind of a joy and a concern. The joy is that Topeka has an outstanding homeless outreach team, and we have multiple law enforcement agencies come here and observe how we do this. We have about 525 homeless people in Topeka. Also, just kind of a concern, there's a front page article in today's Capital Journal written by Mayor Mike Padilla urging us to come to a consensus about how we're going to deal with this situation in our community. So at this time, I'm just asking you to do step 1, just make that observation that we need to come to a consensus.
Hi, I'm Rob Cook, and I have a joy and also a matter of gratitude. On either side of the building, we have flowering gardens, and especially on the west side, it was a patch of weeds. And now, thanks to the work of Cynthia Maxwell, perhaps Lou Hoover, and maybe Sam, forgot Sam's last name, and others, I'm sure, we have a beautiful garden on the west side of the building too.
Thank you. And now we will take up the offering, and I know I see Carolyn Peck with a basket and somebody else. And Janine's going to lead us in From You I Receive. From you I receive, to you I give. You I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. And thank those volunteers that step up every week and take the offering for us. Particularly Carolyn Peck. Thank you, darling. Okay, as soon as we're done with this, then I'll be inviting Kinsey Anderson to the podium for a reading. Good morning, I'm Kinsey Anderson. I have a couple quotes here, one from Brene Brown, followed by one from Rounce. A deep sense of love and belonging is an irreducible need of all people. We are biologically, cognitively, physically, and spiritually wired to love, to be loved, and to belong. When those needs are not met, we don't function as we're meant to. We break, we fall apart, we numb, we ache, we hurt others, we get sick. It's from Brene Brown. You are loved just for being who you are, just for existing. You don't have to do anything to earn it. Your shortcomings, your lack of self-esteem, physical perfection or social or economic success, none of that matters. No one can take this love away from you, and it will always be here. Rounce.
"15 years ago, a couple I never met asked me to officiate their wedding in the KU chapel. I agreed, happy to facilitate a joyful occasion, and I met with them beforehand to get to know them a bit. They like Jayhawk basketball, walks around the lake, and going out to eat for Indian, Korean, Mexican, and a barbecue. Knowing a couple beforehand usually helps me prepare my reflection after the usual scripture reading on love. But this time, instead of a scripture reading, they had chosen a children's book, The Velveteen Rabbit. I was surprised because I thought that the book was a little surface level, not quite deep enough to reflect the love of a partnership. The Velveteen Rabbit is a stuffed toy that needs the love of a child to become real. When I don't understand something, I practice suspending my judgment. I try to get curious and leave the door open for more information. So I just set aside that initial thought, and also my second thought, which was, we don't have to be partnered to be whole. So I just gave their wedding reflection as usual on the subject of love. 10 years later, I was in a training on how to treat childhood trauma, and I come to a new understanding that love is actually what makes us real. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner who loves us into realness, but some being does. You see, for babies, love actually makes them real. When babies' emotional expressions are responded to by their caregivers, they get a sense that they matter. They develop their identity of who they are and become an integrated person. Infants who are touched gently on a regular basis gain weight faster than infants who aren't, and they have fewer medical complications in their first year of life. And when babies are mirrored and well cared for, their gut brain develops interoception. That's awareness of the internal conditions of the body, like hunger, fatigue, temperature, breathing rate, and emotions. When we feel and understand what is happening in our body, we develop a felt sense of who we are, a coherent identity, and a way of being in the world. Oxytocin is the hormone that produces this sensation of love. It's involved in social recognition, bonding, and the formation of trust between people. So when we experience it, we go on to become children with healthy attachments to our parents or caregivers. And if not, we have a strained attachment. And we spend our lives seeking to heal with love. Maybe one day we're coming down 21st Street and we come through these doors and we find out that love is the center value of Unitarian Universalism. An unfathomable and incredible love that kindles the light of a fulfilling life. So science explains how love is the source of well-being and our health. Love is also the goal of our healing, right? We want to love our life, to love who we are. Each of us wants to know and love ourselves. And we create this love primarily through witnessing each other's life movements, responding to one another's expressions. We offer warm eye connection, handshakes, hugs, body postures of genuine interest. And we listen for each other's authentic heartbeat. To paraphrase David Augsburger, being heard is so close to being loved that for most people it's indistinguishable. Because being heard is knowing that you matter. You truly matter. Some of us are wounded by our parents, others by partners or religions or the smothering societal oppression. And sure, maybe some of us arrive here mostly healed, but most of us are mixed. For those with a good sense of our lovability, we may want to further love each other into the reality of a loving community, inspired by the beloved community that Martin Luther King Jr. spoke of. The King Center states his vision where caring and compassion drive political policies that support the worldwide elimination of poverty and hunger from all forms of bigotry and violence. At its core, the beloved community is an engine of reconciliation. Talk about the love that heals. And that's why we have the 8th UU principle. So our first opportunity here is to love each person we meet into their reality. We come here noticing our wounds, being gentle with them, and tending to them. We help each other brush off the all too common despising stares and scoffs of the judgmental ones. Zen master Sung Sung compares living in community to washing potatoes. And while we don't live in this community, some people are here several days a week. In Korea, to wash potatoes, all the potatoes are put into a pot and stirred. And the potatoes rub up against one another, knocking off the dirt, making each other clean. In Zen centers, they trust that whoever has come there is a part of that process. That whoever has come into our life is our teacher. And as we improve our own mental, emotional, and spiritual health, we share that wealth of health. We start advocating for more love in the city around us. UUFT is the story of a congregation that advocates. Showing up when there's proposals of harmful legislation. Showing up with loving signs when another family is hating. Showing up by keeping a food pantry called the Blessing Box stocked. And more and more. I want to help grow here a love that's so real it can withstand the storms of political warfare, economic disenfranchisement, and the anxiety and stress of a 21st century climate crisis life. I want to join you in building this story of we love you and we love us. So that here we feel at home, finally seen, finally found. We might feel elated to be in a cocoon of love because here love wins and love changes us. You might resonate with this chant by Starhawk, the author, activist, permaculturist, and leader in the goddess religion and earth-based spirituality. She changes everything she touches, and everything she touches changes, changes, touches, touches, changes, touch us, change us, change us, touch us. Everything lost is found again in a new form, in a new way. Everything hurt is healed again in a new life, in a new day. We might feel that oxytocin connecting us in song and in excitement as we plan another way to be brave and courageous in our inclusions, affirmations, and attestations. Maybe you felt this at a workplace or in a personal relationship, the high of a honeymoon that flows on and on. But what happens if love breaks down? If it fades like the rainbow that disappears into the clouds? What happens if we no longer feel warm toward one another? Whether it's here in a romantic partnership or in a friendship, I imagine you've experienced seeing the jaded face of a lover who's fallen out of love. What happens when we no longer want to mirror or affirm one another's goodness? When our hearing each other's deep truth fades? Maybe because part of us feels so strongly that our difference of opinion is more real, or that our need to control is more important than the love. Then that potato bumping has turned into big ball bumping. So, we're human, and we can grow calluses around our hearts that are so big we can no longer reach each other. And instead of helping each other see our dirt and let it go, we're slinging mud onto each other. Instead of getting near each other, our hearts can't even get close. And the researchers at the HeartMath Institute could tell us about this conundrum. They study the heart-brain electrophysiology of coherence and how we deepen our connection to self and others. And I want to look at what happens when somebody's big ball starts to get really pokey, like it grows spikes and thorns. Is this still lovable? I'd like to consider this in the context of mysticism. A mystical understanding of existence is that everything is interconnected, nothing is separate from the divine oneness, everything is in unity and love. One of the most befuddling questions for the lovers of God is, if everything is a part of divine love, then why is there so much pain? How are those prickly spikes really a part of the divine? Somebody asked Rabbi Amy Elberg this question: if everything is a part of God, then why is there so much horrid cruelty? And Rabbi Amy Elberg shared the most elucidating response that I have ever heard. She explained that yes, everyone is a part of God's substance, made completely out of godness, but sometimes the shape turns out to be a little pointed and causes pain. These are our psychological shapes. And when we have a pokey part that sticks out of us and we get close to another human being, we might poke them, like two puzzle pieces getting close, but our shapes do not match. Sometimes our shapes really do not match. And if somebody else's pointed edge lines right up with my wound or tender spot, it stings. Of course, once we find the source of love deep within us in our own bodies, we can live on this constantly flowing love from within that continually heals us. And we'll know that the other person's pointed pokes are a part of their body, not ours. But it's a journey to get there. I mean, who amongst us has complete patience, understanding, and a clear view, always, of what needs to be said to maintain respect and boundaries and awaken the other person's mind? That's why we reflect together, support each other, and grow together. And sometimes awakening the other person's awareness just can't be done. So we take a break, we step back, we release effort for a while. If someone keeps stepping on your toes, it's okay to leave the dance floor. And after we take a break, how do we get back to loving? How do we manifest the root of love if we're stuck in the distance of anger, judgment, or suffering? We can choose to see the person as a potato under their dirt. They are a human under that inflatable, puffed up chest. They are a piece of the interlocking puzzle of the world, even if their edges don't feel good to us or don't line up with ours. They are worthy of love and dignity. In fact, they need love. My daughter loves The Lion King, and she says that the antagonist lion's scar is mean because he has a scar. He was wounded. It's a metaphor for our emotional pain. So at the very least, we can choose unconditional positive regard. This was popularized by the humanist psychologist Carl Rogers in 1956. It is the acceptance of a person's deep worthiness to be loved, regardless of their actions or words. Sound like the first UU principle? The respect for every human being's inherent worth and dignity? And at best, we can stoke a curiosity that lures us back into attentive relationship, like the third UU principle, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth. We can do this with trauma-informed care. Instead of accusing, "What is wrong with you?" we ask, "What happened to you? What happened to shape you into who you are today?" While curiosity may kill a cat, it heals the hurting human. We can wonder, ponder, and ask, "What's going on for you? What influenced you to think like this? Where did that view originate?" And then we listen, witness, and see. The goal of healing is to easily see another person's beauty, to cherish their way of being, to see their creativity and their efforts in life, and all other kinds of love, the kinds that involve joy, delight, awe, willingness to give without reciprocity. These are all bonus loves that build on top of that unconditional positive regard. We need the baseline, because it gives us the safety to be who we are, and then we build. Okay, is anyone out there thinking, sure, that sounds good, but how do we do this when we're really, really stuck in pain or anger or blame? I'm imagining hands up. Okay, so whether it is biological family or chosen family, it is common in human life to get stuck in the muck. How do we get out? The secret is that it's easier to give unconditional positive regard to others when we first have it for ourselves. We need to nurture self-compassion and self-love so that we can see through the personal offense and into the other person's inherent dignity. This does not require continued exposure to harm or weakening of needed boundaries. We can draw lines of respect where we need them. And then, how do we see through the calluses of pain? Ours and theirs. One option is to grow your own love in nature. Maybe some of you have a special spot you go to when you're feeling overwhelmed by the complexity of life. Like you feel like the ocean is drowning you, and in that place, there's some sort of divine presence or loving existence that lets you know everything is going to be okay. Maybe you come to feel that you're not a bobber drowning in the ocean anymore, but a drop that's part of a precious wave of the sea. Or maybe with enough time in that special nature spot, you come to know yourself not as a drop in the ocean, but as Rumi says, you are the ocean in one drop. Maybe some of you don't go out, but you have animals in your home. Pets boost our oxytocin. Love is not just a Homo sapien thing. Dog levels of oxytocin are pretty high, especially when they get eye contact with their owners. But other animals, not just mammals, have this loving behavior that helps them bond, make up after fighting, and stay mates or friends. The kingfisher male bird will feed the female bird a fish head first, holding it with its beak so it can slide down her throat easily. What a gift. A mama whale will give a baby whale a toy to play with its flippers if it's found a tree trunk floated out to sea. And monkeys and even beetles care for one another and their young in special ways. So we can be inspired by our animal friends. Another option is to look at the ancestral past or the historical picture to envision ourselves in a long line of loving efforts with love flowing down to us. And if we can remember that we're all born into certain families and situations that contribute to how we develop, we can spend less time judging and more time healing. This is audience participation moment. If anyone knows this quote by Mother Teresa, please finish it. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. So we just need to remember, right now I'm cursing their dirt, but I do love their potato, right? I struggle with the pointy edge, but I know beneath it is the core of love. And one more option is to borrow from the future. If we can take a deep breath and pause just once more, we can imagine how good it would feel to finally be heard. And if we can let them talk first, maybe they will listen to me. I love this quote by Cheryl Richardson. People start to heal the moment they feel heard. Somebody has got to listen truly, madly, deeply. Listen first. Someone's got to make the first bid. Anyone card players here? We've got to put in some unconditional positive regard to the pot. And someone's got to show that love in their eyes. This Hafiz poem explains. Admit something. Everyone you see, you say to them, love me. Of course, you don't say this out loud or someone would call the cops. Still, though, think about this great pull in us to connect. Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye? That is always saying, with that sweet moon language, what every other eye in this world is dying to hear. So there's more options to build our love individually and as a community. But I'll conclude by saying that when relationships get strained, as they surely do, we can take a break when needed. We can sit a song out, learn some new dance moves, play a new song. And when we're ready to pick up our dance card again, we can start with unconditional positive regard. Remember the potatoes, the bumper balls, and the puzzle pieces. And if you feel the verve, your dance can groove into compassionate curiosity. Good luck.
Thank you, Reverend Shannon. Thank you. And today, for our congregational dialogue, instead of coming to the microphone, Reverend Shannon would like to have us have small group conversations. So we now invite you to turn to 2 or 3 people around you to share your thoughts on this message. And we don't even have to worry about it being streamed because we're not going to be streaming this. So turn around, talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. So we still have a rousing last song. Oh, and I can tell we're going to, hello. Okay, do y'all notice this half of the room, you're following directions. That half, not so much. I'm looking. Okay, the song we're going to be doing is Let It Be a Dance We Do, and you're going to have the gray hymnals. Number 311. It's too long and complicated to put the text up here. So, and we're going to have this on the piano, right?
People can rise.
Please rise as you can, in spirit or body.
May I have this dance with you, through the good times, the bad times too. Let it be a dance, let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you, through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like the willow in the wind, let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you, the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. The morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong and nothing's right, let it be a dance, be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you, through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance.
All right, yes it is. Come on up for closing words.
So I'm going to leave this clipboard down here. If you didn't sign up because you didn't know me yet and you weren't sure if you wanted to have tea with me, there's still room. And if you did sign up and now you're like, I'm not coming, you just cross your name off. And then I'd like to share this blessing written by John Saxon. May we live together with greater compassion and care for ourselves, others, and creation. May we touch each other more deeply, hear each other more clearly, and see each other's joys and sorrows as our own. May we strive to be and become more than we already are, more loving, more forgiving, more kind, more honest, more open, more connected, more whole. May we heal and be healed.
Excuse me. And with these words, we extinguish the chalice. Not with those words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our... Thank you. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And we will see you for a little bit of coffee, and there is a 12 noon meeting. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Let's see, I think I left a piece up here.